Hey guys, so today's makeup tutorial is a music festival inspired look, and I just really wanted this to be bright and colorful and not too crazy over the top, but still like spring inspired as well. So the first thing I'm doing is priming my eyes, and I'm using my regular concealer. This is Tarte Shape Tape, and I'm blending it out with a It Cosmetics brush. You also want to set your eyelids with a translucent powder or a very light eyeshadow because that's going to help with your blending and make sure your eyeshadows don't crease. So the first thing I'm doing is starting off with my transition color, and that is Makeup Geek Chickadee. It's more of a yellow tone color, but it looks really cool when you're doing bright looks because it's like a transition color, but it still adds to the look. It's really pretty to have yellow peeking up like over your eyeshadows. So I really like this color as a transition. I know people are like scared of these colors, but look amazing as transition colors with colorful looks. I actually use this eyeshadow a lot. Um, you can use it with browns and stuff like that, and it just enhances like that mustard color if you're using it with browns. Next, I'm using Makeup Geek Frappe. These two are like a staple in my collection. I pretty much use these every day. So I'm just using a fluffy brush and going right over that mustard color. Towards the end of the look, I'll go back in with that yellow color just to reinforce it a little bit. But starting off with light colors like this really helps the blending process, and it makes colorful looks better because you're kind of slowly adding the color in. Then I'm going with Mango Tango, I think this is by Makeup Geek. There's a little bit of glitter in it, but that's okay. I'm just using a little amount just to start adding in that peach color in my transition area. And with this look, it's super easy because I'm using the same brush pretty much for all the crease colors. It's a Morphe blending brush. Then I'm using Real Gar from the Modern Renaissance palette. It's just a really bright orange, and again, this is just going to start to put in those bright colors into the crease, and it makes it so it's kind of a gradient, and it's not just like straight orange. So that's why you start out with like the light colors, but keep it in the peach family and like the orangey family, and then just start going darker and darker. And again, I'm using the exact same brush. Then I'm going to cut the crease. What I do is I put some concealer on my lid, and then I look up, and that's going to kind of mark my template of where I want the concealer to go. So I'm doing a half cut crease. That's what looks best on my eye. So I just go in with my Shape Tape concealer, and I kind of carve out the crease, and you want to go a little bit above your crease so that way you can see when your eyes are open and when they're closed, and this also is a really good technique for making your eyes look bigger. Another key for the cut crease is making sure you bring those crease colors into the inner corner of your eye. A lot of times when you want to do a smokier look, you don't bring those colors into the corner, but when you want to do a cut crease, you really want that, it's kind of like a harsh transition, but at the same time it's blended, so you really want that harshness kind of in the corner, the inner corner of your eye. Um, it's hard to explain, so I'm just going to let you watch how I do the cut crease. And then you always go back in and blend. Even though you want it harsh, you also want it blended. It's like a harsh but blended. You get what I'm saying. Then I'm going to use that bright orange color again from the Modern Renaissance palette, and I'm going to start blending that outer corner. I kind of want to blend it inward, not really like an outer V or anything, just a straight blend from the middle because I want it to go from really light, that cut crease, all the way to the brighter colors that I'm going to put in the outer corner. So I'm just really getting that orange color in because that's what I want the base of this look to be. Then I'm mixing this magenta and this orange shade from the Obsessions palette by Huda Beauty. And I'm really going to start kind of smoking out the outer corner and making it really bright and colorful. This part of the makeup really is what stands out and makes it a little bit different than other looks that I've done. I really like this bright color because I feel like the crease kind of looks more of a natural, but then you have that pop in the outer corner when normally you have like a pop in, the lower lash line or whatever. But I really like this magenta color in the outer corner. Next, I'm going to prime my face using the Becca primer. I forget what it's called. It's like the smoothing lavender one. It's like the five benefits or whatever. Then I'm going to use my Dior Forever foundation. This is in the shade 020, and I'm just buffing this all over my skin with my Morphe foundation brush. As usual, you've seen this in pretty much all my tutorials. I've really been loving this foundation lately. It's a soft matte finish, which I don't normally love matte, but I really like this foundation. Then I am color correcting those under eye bags. I'm using that same It Cosmetics brush, and I'm using the Becca Salmon Tone color corrector, and I'm just putting that right underneath my eyes. And you'll see in a second how much of a difference it makes. It just makes my under eyes really bright, and I also feel like it makes my concealer look better too. Even if you don't have really bad under eye circles, I highly suggest that. It kind of gives you that Kim K-esque under eye look. So if you don't want to invest in her concealers, get this Becca under eye corrector, and then that way if you don't get enough sleep, you can always use this under eye corrector. Then I'm using my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. This is in the color Light Neutral. I actually think I need to switch concealer, so I've been noticing that this has been looking a little bit yellow on me. But anyway, I'm just going to use it till it's gone. I can kind of even it out with like powders and stuff like that. So I'm just highlighting my normal places that I highlight in my face, and then I'm using this Morphe blending sponge. It's kind of like their version of the Beauty Blender, and I like this a lot better than the Beauty Blender actually. So I'm just blending out my concealer with that, and then I'm going to bake my concealer just for a couple seconds with the It Cosmetics translucent powder. This one's for pores, and I do like it. It's not like wow or anything, but it is a really nice powder. And then I'm going to dust that away. I really only let it sit for a couple seconds because I don't like the really dry under eye look. And then I'm going to contour my face using the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. As you can see, this palette is very loved. I'm using the two middle shades, and I'm just going to use my Morphe contour brush. I'm just going to contour my cheeks very lightly. I haven't been into a super strong contour. So yeah, just very lightly my cheeks and my forehead, and that's about it. Then I'm actually going to go in and use the other side of that Morphe sponge and use that It Cosmetics translucent powder, and I'm going to carve out my contour a little bit. This really helps if your contour gets too low. It's kind of like a little eraser. And then with this as well, I don't let it sit for too long, just a couple seconds, and then I dust it away and blend it out. And I really think that that's what like makes or breaks your contour. And I also feel like it makes it stand out a little bit. So if you feel like your contour blends in with your skin, try doing this technique, because I really feel like sharpening it up is really what makes your contour stand out and make you go from basic to bad bitch. Lately, what I've been doing with my eyebrows is I've kind of just been filling in the sparse areas and then going over it with a brow gel. Then I'm moving on to the lower lash line. I'm using the combination of all those crease colors that I used in my crease, and I'm running it on my lower lash line, starting from lightest to darkest. And then I'm using a lot of that magenta color and putting that underneath my lower lash line. I think that this also is what makes the makeup look really bright and colorful and kind of festival-esque. Now it's time for my favorite part. I'm basically going to dip myself in highlighter, and I'm going to highlight underneath my brow bone, my inner corner of my eyes. I feel like you can't really finish a makeup look without highlighting those areas. And then as far as my face, I'm basically highlighting my entire face. So my cheekbones, cupid's bow, down the bridge of my nose, the tip of my nose, above my eyebrows, my chin, pretty much everywhere. I'm very dry, so I like the look of highlighting everywhere. You can do you and highlight wherever you please. And then to finish off the eyes, I'm using this Stila Magnificent Metals glitter in the color Smoldering Satin. And I'm just putting a very little bit on my brush and kind of putting it right on the center of my eye where the concealer and the eyeshadow meet. I'm not doing a whole lot. You could do as much or as little as you want. I just kind of feel like it adds that little extra pop that, makes it a little bit different, so you wouldn't normally wear this on an everyday basis. Then I'm going to finish the lower lash line with some mascara. And for lips, I'm using this melted liquid lipstick by Too Faced. And then over it, I'm putting the Kylie Cosmetics gloss in the color Literally, just because I felt like this lipstick was a little bit too light for me. That kind of darkens it up a little bit. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one. We about to turn it up.